Hey guys, how are we doing? Crypto Insight UK here, bringing you back another video. And let's be honest, there's not tons to say other than GG's in the chat. XRP at 325 this morning, up 7% on the day. We've said it was coming. It looks unbelievable right now. It looks fantastic. Up against Bitcoin, up in dominance, up against the dollar. Fantastic moves for altcoins across the board. We thought this was coming. Let's try and break down a few things. I'm going to give you a few bits of information. Obviously got the newsletter coming tomorrow. I'm going to go in depth on some of my thoughts on like the future of the market. But I'm going to give you a few bits of info in this video, and I'm just going to try and keep you grounded as to what to do in this next stage where things probably going to get euphoric in terms of sentiment, but also in terms of price action. So just to start with, let's look at XRP on the 4 hour. We've got one last major piece of resistance left, which is pretty much all-time highs between this area of 329 and around 340. Now you can discuss and we can argue about where the all-time highs came in previously. Let's see where previous all-time highs came in, and it's different across different exchanges. But a break above like 340, 350 clearly. A clear break above them would indicate new all-time highs for me. And that's where we're going to get into price discovery, and that's where things are going to get even more crazy than they are right now. Look, what I said to you guys was I presume this move is going to be more aggressive than the previous move. It's a hard thing to say because it's going to mean a lot more market cap is going to have to come onto XRP to see significant increase in price. But that's how these wave structures often work. So if I'm right with that thought process, then we realistically should really be booming up towards this sort of box here within no time, probably like 8 to 12, somewhere around there. And if you've read my newsletter for the last few weeks, you'll know what could happen if we have a really good cycle. So let's just look at total market cap first, because I think this is important. Obviously, total market cap setting new all-time highs. In the last cycle, I'll show you what happened. Total market cap, I'll move the Fibonacci retracements to the highs and the lows of last cycle. The highs and the lows of last cycle made a full 4.236 Fibonacci extension. And if we did something similar again this cycle, we would be at about $10 trillion, which is significant. Imagine the narrative that's going to have to come in to get us out to about $10 trillion. Look. 10.24 trillion, that's only a rough draw and I've not made it like super accurate, so say 10 trillion. And if we then look at XRP dominance, is where you want to get excited, is what I wrote about in the newsletter. I think it could hit 20%. So in best case scenario, it all happens at the same time, and XRP's market cap would be 2 trillion in that scenario. And like, look, that's absolute stars aligning. So don't put a lot of weight on XRP's market cap going to 2 trillion, but it's possible. It's definitely possible we wick up there. And the other thing that not enough people are discussing that I think is honestly possible is that XRP dominance sets a new high. I don't see why that's not possible. I'm not saying it's my base case. My base case, as I've said, I'm going to say like defensively, but not defensively. I think an average base case is about 20% dominance at some point this cycle for XRP. But it's definitely not out of the question to see XRP dominance hit a new all-time high. Anyone who says that's not possible just isn't speaking honestly. Like, this is a range right here. The lows of the range are about 0.95. The highs of the range are 31. There's nothing to say you can't take the top of the range, full stop. Like, we've done it before. We created a range high at around 20%, and then we took it at 31, and now the range high is 31. Who's to say that we don't take the top of that range? Like, I'm not saying we do, but I'm also not saying we don't. I put probability on that, maybe 20 to 50% probability or possibility that we can take the highs for XRP dominance. Now, XRP Bitcoin looks pretty similar to me as well. Like, we've had this long period of consolidation. We've pretty much consolidated since 2019. We're now in 2025. That's 6 years, nearly 7 years of consolidation. So why wouldn't, if we do manage to get these breaks above pretty much these, we've got about 50% of significant resistance battling to continue against Bitcoin, but we're up against Bitcoin 7.8% today. So we've still got 50% of resistance to play against Bitcoin. But who's to say we can't set new all-time highs against Bitcoin for XRP? I'm not saying again that it's my base case. I'm just throwing this out there as a possibility. Even if we don't, that's probably the first area of significant resistance in and around about 220% outperformance from here. And then if you want to go to the swing highs or the range highs, it's 700 or 800% outperformance of Bitcoin from here. And that's to say, that's just to the range highs, to say that we don't set a new all-time high versus Bitcoin. So let's see. Now XRP against ETH is a more difficult one. Obviously, XRP outperformed ETH massively. We're looking to see if we can start to take the lead again here. It's up against ETH today, but ETH was fighting XRP well. We broke this like resistance level that we've been stuck below for ages. We've come back, we've back tested it on the 3-day, and let's see now if we can hold that as support and start to head higher, because that's where we could, if XRP outperforms ETH as well, like massively, and Bitcoin, that's when we can really start to see these explosive and larger price targets there for XRP. So that's what we're looking for. XRP at 326, we're waiting to see if we can get a clean break here. If we take all our drawings off, like, it looks flipping unbelievable. The chart looks fantastic on the 3-day. If we look to the weekly, it looks great. It looks like we're ready to rip and roar it. We've got 3 days and 14 hours left on the weekly candle. This would be the highest ever weekly close if we can keep this up. Obviously, that's what we're looking at. We'll look at XRP Bitcoin, XRP dominance as well. XRP Bitcoin, similarly, probably want to push another 4 or 5% maybe for us to be looking extremely nice here. Yeah, if we push another 4 or 5% and close 4 or 5% higher, things are looking pretty good. XRP dominance, very similar on the weekly. We've got about, let's have a look, how much resistance left. If we can get a close another 20% higher from here, which obviously is quite an ask, we're just pretty much flying towards 13%. We'd be at about 6%. We'd have another 6% gain on the market that we probably would get at that case. XRP ETH we've just discussed. Everything's looking pretty good. And then if we look over at Bitcoin, what's Bitcoin looking like on the weekly? It's looking pretty good as well. Yeah, you could say there are bearish divergences occurring here on Bitcoin. But then if we go to Bitcoin, this is Bitcoin liquidity on the hourly, but let's take us to the daily and let's look at what's going on. Give me 1 second while my PC loads. Oh, actually, can I get those drawings back? Let me just refresh this and see if I can get those. Oh, I did get them back, nice. What did I say? In this area here that we pushed through, I said probably the start of alt season. As we push through that area there, where's Bitcoin dominance? Bitcoin dominance started to break down and alts have started to rip. So that's another pat on the back for me right there. I think Bitcoin probably continues the upside. We've got a lot of liquidity above us and it's still building up at like 136 now, all the way up to like 142. Imminently probably take the 125, 126 sort of level. And then it'll be interesting to see what alts do at that time. Now, if we look at Bitcoin dominance on the daily, I think we at some point will have a bit of a reprieval bounce for dominance just because of how low the RSI has got. And that might only be a day or two of stalling out, but that could just be while Bitcoin takes a bit of liquidity back and tries to break that 125, 126 level. And it may come as a double bottom here at about 62%, but we also may continue to fall. We're in this period here where you're not trying to do anything clever, pretty much. You're just holding alts realistically and riding this journey. We could have this bounce. Like I said, it could bounce back up to 1 or 2% higher as Bitcoin goes for that 125, 130,000 level. And alts just cool off. Hopefully don't lose anything to Bitcoin. Just don't lose anything to the market, sorry, but just stay pretty stable and Bitcoin takes the lead for a little bit. That'd be nice. But the talk of the town has got to be XRP and ETH, to be honest, like alts generally. ETH on the 3-day looks fantastic as well. Back into the overbought area on the RSI, which I know a lot of people use as a indicator for when we're going to start to cool down. But in these trending bull markets, to me, it's basically an indicator of that crazy candles could be on the way. Obviously, I've got a big position in ENA since we've been discussing that we were buying in this area here. Fantastic move for ENA as well. Overall, I think our average buy is about 25.5 cents or something like that. So we're up on that position right now. I bought a spot. We're at 48%, which is fantastic. CRV's obviously flying. XLM absolutely flying. There's not really too much to report, guys, other than stay grounded for the future. And no matter the narrative that's about to come out, I think there's going to be some big narratives come out for crypto, specifically around XRP. That's going to really send us higher. No matter the narrative, stick to your take profit plan. If you've been buying at 50 cent, if even lower, 30 cent, say 50 just for ease of maths, and we go to around $10, so you've 20x your portfolio, take some fucking money off the table. I'll tell you that from experience. Take some money off the table, whether you think it's life-changing or not. Whatever you've put in relative to your net worth was what you could afford to put in. So if it's gone up 20 times, take a little bit out. Whatever that, and however much you take is up to you. I'm going to be deleveraging heavily if we get to $10, $11, $12, because it's a significant amount of capital relative to what I was worth before. And that's what it will be for you as well if you've been investing from those numbers. Doesn't matter whether the number's different for me or you. It's relative. It's all relative. Investing's relative. Play the game, understand the percentages, and learn to be a good investor and trader. Don't try and just like 100x your portfolio and change your life in one move, because it's the skills as well and the mindset and the discipline that is going to make it, or going to help you make it long term. And if you make money and you can change your life, however that might look, don't worry about what anyone else thinks and what anyone else says online. Do the fucking thing, man. Honestly, best advice that I could give to myself looking back. I did do that pretty much along the way. Obviously, I can't give you legal or financial advice, but that's the advice that I would give myself if I was in that position, from like now with hindsight. Finally, XRP memes are up a lot today. 20% for Drop, 49% for Sigma is another one that we've been talking about over there on X, which is fantastic. Brito's up 20% as well, I think. Brito is up 20%, I think. Yeah, 25% for Brito. 1.2 mil market cap, which is nice. And Scrap, they're the four that I've been talking about, covering recently. Scrap's up 16%. So it's looking good, guys. I want to see the XRPL like meme coin scene thrive again. It's when we start to get excitement around the XRP like community and ecosystem. I haven't got too much more to say to you guys. Let's have a quick check of liquidity for XRP, but I don't think there is much left above us unless it started to rebuild again. Lovely daily candles. Look at the state of that. Boom. Yeah, 341 could be the next target. And let's see. Could get that today. It'd be fantastic if we did. And fingers crossed, guys. That's all it is now. That's all we do. We're sitting here. We're looking at the charts. We're already positioned. We've been positioning whilst everyone was calling us idiots weeks and months ago. Now we're sitting pretty. And who's laughing now? Now it's just execute on the plan. That's it. That's all you have to do now. Don't overcomplicate anything. Don't try and do anything too clever. Just because you've made profit, don't flip it into something more risky to try and make extra profit. Stick to the plan. Stay cool. Enjoy the push-up. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, please do subscribe to the channel. There's links in the description below to 2 different exchanges, WEX and MEXC. If you want to trade leverage, please go and use those links if you want to support my channel. You don't have to use them, of course. And then 2 non-KYC exchanges. Subscribe to the weekly newsletter for free. Link in the description below. We are now 82nd overall on crypto newsletters. So shout out and thank you to everybody who subscribes to that. Thank you to everyone who subscribes to my channel on YouTube as well. Remember, I don't have anything paid. So if anyone ever DMs you saying that I've got like some stupid copy trading or something like that, it's definitely a scam. But yeah, enjoy this move, because it's not very often we get periods like this. So peace up, A-Town down, as Crypto Insight UK would say.